This is one of those verses people quote with confidence, but completely misunderstand. You've heard it before. Maybe you've even said it yourself. For where two or three are gathered in my name, there am I among them. Matthew 18:20. Most people believe this means that as long as a few believers come together, whether it's a prayer group, a church meeting, or even just hanging out, Jesus automatically shows up in a special way. But that's not what Jesus was teaching. If you don't understand the context of this verse, you will walk away with the wrong meaning. So let's slow this down and walk through what Jesus actually said, step by step, because Matthew 18:20 is the conclusion of a much bigger teaching. Jesus starts here. If your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he listens to you, you have gained your brother. Matthew 18:15. What Jesus is teaching in this moment is not about gatherings. It's about restoring relationships. He is saying that when someone wrongs you, the first move is not to expose them, embarrass them, or bring others into it. You go directly to that person privately with the goal of restoration, not punishment. The goal is to win your brother back, not to prove that you're right. Then he continues, but if he does not listen, take one or two others along with you, that every charge may be established by the evidence of two or three witnesses. Matthew 18:16. Now Jesus is introducing something deeper. If the person refuses to listen privately, you bring one or two others, not to gang up on them, but to establish truth. This comes from an Old Testament principle that serious matters should be confirmed by multiple witnesses. This protects against false accusations, emotional bias, and personal agendas. It ensures that what is being addressed is actually true and not just one person's perspective. Then he says, if he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, let him be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. Matthew 18:17. This is where it gets serious. If the person still refuses correction, the matter is brought before the wider community of believers. And if they still reject truth, Jesus says to treat them as an outsider, not out of hatred, but out of recognition that they are no longer walking in alignment with the community of faith. This is about accountability, not condemnation. It's about recognizing when someone refuses truth entirely. Then Jesus makes a powerful statement. Truly I say to you, whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. In Matthew 18:18. This is not about people having unlimited spiritual power to declare whatever they want. What Jesus is saying is that when decisions are made on earth in alignment with God's truth, heaven backs those decisions. Binding and loosing were terms used for forbidding or permitting something according to God's law. So when believers in alignment with Christ make a judgment about a situation, especially in matters of truth and correction, heaven affirms what is right. Then he adds another layer. Again I say to you, if two of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. Matthew 18:19. This is where people often misunderstand again. This is not saying that if two people agree on anything they want, God will automatically give it to them. The key word here is agreement in the context of everything Jesus just taught. This is agreement rooted in truth, not emotion. Agreement under God's will, not personal desire. When believers come into true alignment with God's perspective, their requests reflect His will, and that's why those prayers are answered. This connects with what Jesus teaches elsewhere. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. John 15:7. Here, Jesus is explaining that answered prayer is not about saying the right words, it's about alignment. To abide means to remain, to stay connected, to live in Him. And when His words live in you, they shape how you think, what you desire, and what you ask for. So when you ask for something, it's no longer just your will, It reflects his will. That's why it's done. The same principle shows up again here. And this is the confidence that we have toward him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. 1 John probably confirm. Fine. This verse makes it even clearer. The confidence is not in asking anything randomly. It's in asking according to his will. That means alignment is the condition. When your request matches God's will, there is confidence because you are not asking outside of what he has already determined to be right. Now, with all of that in place, Jesus concludes, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I among them." Matthew 18-20. Now you can finally see what he means. This is not about casual gatherings. This is not about numbers. This is not about as long as we have a few people, God is here. Jesus is talking about something much deeper. When believers come together under his authority, aligned with his truth, seeking what is right, especially in serious matters like correction, accountability, and discernment, he is present in that process. His authority backs it. His presence affirms it. Heaven is not disconnected from what's happening, it is involved in it. And this corrects another misunderstanding people have. Some think this verse means God is only present when there are at least 2 or 3 people. But that's not true either. The Bible makes it clear that God is with you even when you are alone. Where shall I go from your spirit? Or where shall I flee from your presence? Psalm 139:27. What David is expressing here is that God's presence is not limited by location or numbers. There is nowhere you can go where God is not already there. Whether you are alone, in a crowd, in a high place, or at your lowest moment, his presence is constant. So Matthew 18:20 is not about God showing up only in groups. It's about the authority and confirmation of Christ when believers gather in true alignment with him. So the real question is not how many people are in the room. The real question is this: are you actually gathered in his name? Are you aligned with his truth? Are you operating under his authority? Or are you just using his name while doing your own will? Because that's the difference between a gathering and a gathering that heaven actually backs. If this explanation helped you see the verse more clearly, don't just move on. Go back and read Matthew 18:15-20 slowly and in order. And this time pay attention to the flow, not just the final verse. Then ask yourself honestly where in your life you've been using God's name without actually aligning with his truth. And if you want more breakdowns like this, where we don't just quote verses, but actually understand what they mean, subscribe and stay with me, because we're going to keep exposing what Scripture really says, not just what people repeat.